Welcome back to Paperback Radio, my sweetmeats. Did you miss me? The Crown has returned to introduce another horror story by Elaine McLeod Jackson. One that proves not all evil needs to be otherworldly. We hope you enjoy a perfect game.
One out of 500, and that's among the pros. It's even rare for schmucks like me. God, gotta stop doing that. My doctor says that self-deprecation isn't funny if you believe. You're just bullying yourself, Doug. Fine. I'm a total amateur, but not a schmuck. I never joined a league, is all I'm saying. Though I could. I'm good. The best in this area, really. Mom's always nagging me, saying that I'd meet people, maybe even a girl, but I wasn't ready. I hadn't really gone to pinstripe bowling since Dad died. He used to take us a lot. We got an arcade and pizza. He got beer and Penny. Aunt Penny was a bottle redhead who couldn't afford shirts her size. Say hi to your Aunt Penny, Doug. Aunt, please. I wasn't Mom's sister, and we can safely say Dad wasn't a blood relation. I'm not the smartest. So it took me almost a year to realize Dad always disappeared with my auntie. A braver kid would have walked the 45 feet to the Quality Inn next door, confronted them, be the hero Mom deserved. Instead, 3 days before my 12th birthday, Pops had a heart attack. Best present ever. Mommy had no reason to take me to pinstripe, obviously, which was fine. But I missed the games. The Terminator shooter, air hockey, big buck hunt, and Street Fighter. Funny, I almost never bowled when Dad took me. A few times when he'd stuck around, he showed me a few moves, his special little secrets. Dad bowled like he'd sold his soul for this life of cheap motels and cheaper Bud Light. One strike after the other. And all these years later, I strain my mind past the hatred to remember the twist of his wrist. How did he do it? Those were simpler times. Cartoon pins didn't cheer back then. Also, kind of unrelated, but talent meant something. Today, if you don't know someone, anyone, then obviously we're classified as no one. That's a fact. Whole country knows. Another reason to avoid a league. If I'm not incredible immediately, it'll mean squat. Spot will just be taken by some boo-hoo story. Which I'm not, trust me. I put in the hours. I gotta take care of Mom. She can't work no more because of the diabetes. And that woman raised me practically alone. And my job's not that bad. I can take the cold, which is why they stuck me in Target's freezer. But Mom goes to bed early, like 7, sometimes 8. And I don't have anyone else, really, right now. Again, not whining. But Evan, my best friend, got married last year and he's too busy. Sometimes I call Tiffany. Met her back when I did school. Don't tell everyone this, but I got into Meyer Academy for Animation and 3D Modeling. Even managed a scholarship. But those professors didn't get it. Never did. Always more interested in having me spit back their BS is what they wanted me to do, and I'm no good at that. After a nonsense midterm exam, Evan took me to a gentleman's club. I'd never been there. I always kind of thought only losers partake, but that's a lie. Real men go, not these pitiful mouth-breathing nimrods either. People who know what they want. Guys in suits, a bunch of construction workers. There was even a couple of lesbians. Music, food, and those muses dancing. Inspiring. Beauty is a virtue by itself. Look through history, everyone knows, but in this current era of polite intolerance, we're not allowed to admit it. Does anyone know a god darn thing about the Mona Lisa? Or the ecstasy of St. Teresa? Nothing. There's no personality at all, but we feel rapturous. And I'll tell you the truth, with the right mindset, a woman on the pole can inspire greatness. Tiffany did. After 20 minutes, I could slay dragons. I did my best work after what she used to call a diamond session. It didn't matter, obviously. When the professors hate you personally, nothing means a thing. But Tiff liked it. But with everything going on, I had to come home. Take care of Mom. I haven't drawn in years. So 7 o'clock came and I just stared at the TV. Can't watch those. Seeing all those hacks pretend to write, disgusting. Nothing is as good as it used to be. They are trying to make the world uglier. Drains your soul. Sorry, I'm trying to work on mindset. About a year ago, I started driving. Nowhere in particular, just out. The pike goes through the woods, and I thought a lot about darkness. Parts of the stretch have no light. So I'd turn off my beams before coasting through absolute night. Once, only once, I turned off the car and waited. Middle of the road, just beyond a turn, 5 minutes before I heard something like an engine. Wasn't sure I'd even notice death, because in this darkness it would be like nothing changed. But then I had a different thought. What if I didn't die? What if I got smashed into and turned into some miserable cripple and Mom had to take care of me? No way. I couldn't do that to her. But it was too late. This pickup rushes around the corner as I turn my key. Death arrives via high beams. Lucky me, the asshole saw my Ford in time. He flipped the bird while speeding away. Completely unnecessary. And Death had to wait. Hence my return to bowling. It's strange what parts of childhood lurk inside a soul. First game back, I got 125 points. Second, it jumped to 160. Haven't bowled anything less than 260 since. Kept it hidden from Mommy for weeks before finally she asked, and I can't lie to her. Oh, the disappointment hidden by surprise echoed. I thought maybe you'd found a girlfriend. No, not me. Tiffany still answers after I've donated to her OF, even when I call late. She lets me get a little stress relief over the phone. Tiff is special. Even after 3 years, can still make me feel like I'm capable of something. Who cares if I pay? Who doesn't pay? I'm the real whore. Sweat freezing in the freezer. She, at least, makes people happy. Me happy. It's important to have purpose. That's what I found at Pinstripe. 3 weeks into my regular excursions there, a divine revelation occurred. Like the road to Damascus, a vision. I saw my dead father. Not a ghost, but a faded picture taken 20-odd years ago. He wasn't alone, mind you. There were maybe 20 or so photos of increasing quality. It was every winner of a perfect game. Bowling, when you think about it, is incredible. There isn't a lot where you can objectively say, I was perfect. Nothing went wrong. 300 out of 300. Under his pick was a little number 2 because he'd done it twice. Then, because either God or the devil rewards the desperate, I saw her. Aunt Penny smiled at me under the frame while Dad looked down. Last time I'd seen those red curls, all grown-ups looked equally giant, but now I realize she must have been like 20, maybe 25, because now a score later, Penny couldn't be more than 40, maybe a hot 50. She's gotten thicker everywhere. She bent over to grab some shoes, and Dad's stupid grin and his thumbs up mocked me. I left that night without bowling. Penny still worked here. At that moment, because I was stupid, I thought that meant the end of my time at Pinstripe. Until the dream started. Details aren't supposed to follow us. Nightly visions dissolve into sunlight, right? But she didn't leave. Not when I slept, and certainly not while I worked. She's naked, staring up at me, my thingy growing. It's becoming monstrous. Her eyes are kind of violet, almost maroon. Of course they are. She's a devil hiding behind flesh. Suddenly, we're in this roach-covered room, and I mean covered. The floor moves. The walls crawl. Only the bed is untouched as she moans. A full-sized wall mirror covered in dust only reveals the basic movements. But thrust by thrust, it begins to clear, and it's not me doing anything. It's Daddy. Smiling. No, not smiling. He's grinning. Grinning with that stupid thumbs up. And then I wake. See, I'm not as smart as Paul, because it took me a few weeks to realize providence behind these visions. Fate kept me alive, sent me home for Mom, and summoned me into this den of temptation. And when destiny can be summed up in less than a paragraph, you've got meaning. Step 1, bowl a perfect game. Step 2, take Aunt Penny over to the Quality Inn and show Daddy who's the real man. Both steps required parallel preparation. I'd been using Mom's last name for years, and obviously Penny didn't recognize me. But she liked compliments, seemed especially from younger guys. Lies fell from my mouth with more conviction than anything I'd ever believed. I told Penny I'd come back from New York, art critic, on a sabbatical between galleries. In a few months I'd be in San Fran for some gauche Eurotrash exhibition. My auntie loved when I used words like gauche next to terms she happened to understand. And as the days went by, her shirts got tighter, her touches more frequent. I realized that getting her next door wasn't going to be the hard part. It wasn't just her. The more I spoke, fabricating this life of meaning, random women would find me at the bar, or as I dropped off my shoes. One, I didn't catch her name, seemed so sweet and nervous. I did almost ask her out, but the dreams hadn't stopped, and Daddy was still laughing at me. Part 2 ended up being harder than I thought. Certainly more difficult than sweet-talking Penny. The perfect game seemed out of reach. 280, 275, 295. So close, but never there. I began to panic. Penny couldn't be kept on the hook forever. So after one game, I took her hand, led her to the alley, and had her face the motel as I reached under her shirt. After my perfect game, I said, I'm going to take you over there. You'd like that, right? She agreed. I spent every hour watching YouTube and reading Reddit forums on bowling. It helped. But this wasn't a skill issue. Destiny. Destiny wanted me to be ready. On the nights I stayed home, I forced myself to remember those lessons with Daddy, how he held his wrist, the laughter we shared, how much I loved him. It's not wrong to admit that. Why else would the hate be so strong? Finally, it happened. Again, my friends either above or below cared about me. The rain destroyed everything. The alley completely abandoned except for me, Penny, and some other folks way down the way. Even the owner stayed locked in his office. She sat down to watch me play. Tonight it was different. We both felt it. We barely spoke. No flirtation, no outrageous fictions. I took my bowling ball, bought 4 months ago, a silver, beautiful orb, and I sent it down the center, over and over. No spectacular saves or twisting almosts, just strike after strike after. Perfect, she screamed. I stepped away from the frame for the 10th time. All of a sudden, she reminded me of when I first met her, who she must have actually been. And I get hit by this wave of affection. She'd always been so kind. When he went for the camera, "No picture," I said. "I don't feel like waiting anymore." She went to grab her car keys, but I caught her wrist and shook my head. "Let's walk," I whisper into her ear. "I want to see you soaking wet." A slight purr, a desperate squeeze, and without pain, I grabbed my bag before we rushed through the side door into the rain. The weather has not improved. Thunder pounds and we can't even hear each other's giggles. She must be thinking of my father, right? How could she not? Unless other men took her to this place. But no. In the time I've learned about her and lied about me, she didn't strike me as that kind of girl. This would be for Penny too. In one act, I'd redeem her, spite Daddy, and avenge Mommy. I hold my finger to my lips as she hugs her breasts together. Nothing is hidden. The white with red striped uniform completely see-through in this rain. Her smile cuts through the world. We rush to a back corner, a room nowhere near the office. With a yell covered by thunder, I use my bowling bag and the 12-pound ball inside to shatter the window. I see but don't hear her delighted giggle. She waits by the door while I carefully step through the broken glass. Bigger room than I thought. Nicer. No walls of roaches. Maybe my expectations were too low. She kisses me as I open the door. My body reacts immediately and she reaches down. "Nice," she says. To be fair, she's been waiting almost 2 months, so she wastes no time tearing the sticky fabric from her body. She jumps into the bed completely, without anything except, well, you know. She holds out her hand inviting me in. I consider just doing that. But it would be wrong. We're around, I say. The flashed grin does not meet her eyes. She's impatient, but she does what I say. Crawling onto the bed, I waste no time and pick up the 12-pound sphere. It's still in the bag, so I can swing easily. My aim has been improving day in and out. Down the lane, right down the center, hit the spot. She drops immediately. Even with the pounding water outside, the lightning, the splitting of her head can be heard. The more you know. Penny doesn't die right away, but it's enough. If I left, she'd probably suffer more. So that's why I grab the pillow and hold it over her face. Push down till she's still and at peace. After all these years, I finally punished the people who hurt Mom. She had to know. All those times, her broken, sad expression as Daddy took me out. But now, Mom will rest easy. I drag Penny out to the car. No one sees anything. Of course they don't. God is on my side. Or the other one. Mother is asleep, so I have the garage all to myself. I had kind of thought the blood would bother me, but the electric saw cuts through easy enough. Far from upset, I'm exhilarated. Each time I wrap a limb or a piece of the torso in plastic wrap, My mind drifts to those dreams, the feeling when I'm inside her. At one point, after checking to make sure no one sees, I push my finger into her liver just to see. Squish. I'm sweating, it's so intense. Finally, we're done in 15 packages. I can wait. Mom never uses this freezer, and in case, I've locked it. Tomorrow I'll drive far and find some river. The water will be rushing because of the storm. In all my life, I have never felt this kind of satisfied. It is the perfect reward for a perfect game. It only occurs to me as I drift off into my first dreamless sleep in weeks. What happens when I win the next time?
Hiya, I'm LJ.
And I'm Lane McLeod Jackson.
You're a troll.
What? I thought it was funny.
We're here to let you know you can also find us on Substack under
Paperback Productions.
Yep, this podcast and other goodies will be delivered right to your inbox if you subscribe.
So please support us.
Emotionally.
Financially.
Dramatically. See, I can be funny too.
Try to be professional, okay, babe? Thank you all for your support.